Hey guys, and welcome to another Locals Finals match. We've got Kooper on the left potting Wargrey, Charles on the right potting Xros Heart. Kooper's got his Agumon ready to go, and Digital Gate open. So Charles is going to start us off, and unfortunately he does not have a zero-cost rookie, so he's just going to evolve to that Star Sword for 1, pass the turn. Kooper also does not have a rookie, so he's just going to drop a red memory boost. He does see a rookie though. Has to put the Blitz on me on the bottom. So Charles is going to move up, he's going to get that draw off the Pikmon. It does die, but he does have a Tamer to drop, so he's going to drop that Taiki. He's going to see some pretty good reveals. He can definitely going to pick up that Taiki for more searching. And then he's going to take the Ballista. So Kooper just top decks on the Min Boost, and he's going to drop it. Does not get some great options, but he does get another Agumon, so now he can get at least double evolve and raising. So Charles drops the Ignite over there. And then he's probably going to drop another Tamer. He gets a Ballista, put out a blocker, and also gets some more early aggression. After all, he can tell that Kooper's not going to be dropping a blocker anytime soon, so he needs to get these swings in as early as he can. So new Taiki does reveal, adding the Sparrow, slotting the Darulu under. So at this point, Charles has most of the names he needs to start doing some big crosses. So Kooper, he's still just playing Red Min Boost. It's his Red Min Boost deck after all. So he's now revealed a Wargreymon and some level 4s, and he looks like he needs both of those pieces in order to do what he wants. So he's going to grab the Security Attack Greymon for going to level 6, and then to pass turn, he's just going to evolve that Greymon and raising. So Charles is going to push up this Ignite, get some more aggression in, some more draws. The Ignite does die. Going to swing Ballista. The Ballista does live. And now Charles is debating exactly what he wants to do, because Wargrey potentially has 7 memory for this next turn, and if Charles leaves up a unsuspended body, then he could potentially enable Kooper to double swing, pierce over, get a bunch of checks. So Charles needs to try and figure out exactly how he wants to end off his turn here. Debating on exactly what he wants to do. So he does go for the cross 5. See how many materials it's going to be. So he does go for the 4 material cross 5. He's really wanting to get those last 2 checks in. It's going to cost him 1 thanks to the Zendra. And now with that rush, he's going to get those final 2 security checks. A pretty weak security from Wargrey looking like. And now he's debating on how exactly he wants to end turn. So he does end on an unsuspended body. So if Kooper does get the line, he can do quite a big push here. But unfortunately, it does not look like he has that line. He is missing his BT12 Metal Gray, and I believe he's also missing his Wargrey line. So he has to just try to go for some draws. So he drops the Agumon, evolves into a cheap Greymon. Still not seeing what he needs, unfortunately, so he has no choice but to use that Min Boost. He's going to drop that tie. Debating on who he wants to give blocker to. He puts it on the less valuable stack. And now he just passes turn by making the Metal Gray X. Pretty unfortunate for Wargrey that he was played all those Min Boosts but still wasn't able to see the right pieces. So now Charles is just up to him to try to find an extra swing to try and end off this game. We do the cross 5 swing, Kooper must block, and does he have another swing? It looks like he does not, but he is able to delete that stack. It's a pretty expensive cross 7, but it's worth doing because now Wargrey's board is completely wiped, he has nothing in raising, and he has no way of using that tie effect to give block or anything. So Kooper's just going to scoop it up, and they're going to go into game 2. So Charles starts off again, getting a Starmon. A much better start for him this time. Gets a Tamer and a free cost rookie. So Kooper's going to do the good Agumon in raising, and he's got another one in hand. So he is actually going to drop that for 3, so we can get that Agumon X effect right away. He sees a Greymon he picks up, and then after this, he's going to drop a Min Boost. He's probably hoping to get a BT12 Greymon so he can get that evolve effect, which is why he probably didn't evolve that Greymon in Racing. But this does set him up for memory next turn as well. So we're going to slot the Ballistamon to the Triple Tamer on the cross side. Charles goes to the swing and the draw. Classic cross things. He does hit a Min Boost though. So Kooper's pretty primed for a pretty big push once he sees his pieces. So Charles is going to start searching from pieces 2. He sees a Zeeg and 2 Tamers. He's going to take the Z-Gray and the Triple Tamer. He's probably going to swing that stack. He does not want to leave a suspended body up for the raid. And then he just drops the Tamer. So Kooper, he's going to debate exactly what he wants to do here. He does push out, so he does get that Augo X. Gets the searches. He sees that... Yeah, he's already got plenty of Gray X in hand, so he takes the BT5 Greymon. Now he does actually have a lot of memory here, and if he sees the pieces, he could potentially end it this turn. Goes into the Greymon for 2. Greymon X is probably going to be next for free. Now he's debating exactly how he wants to do this turn. He does not have the new Wargrey or the tie, so he can't quite make a blocker. But what he can do is he can get second attack with Metal Gray X. Unfortunately, top decking's got X antibody, so he does not have the DP boost, but he is going to swing anyway with 11k. Barely gets over the cross 5. And then the third check, so he does unfortunately live, and it looks like he's going to go for Zeeg Greymon. An unusual attack, but he does get the unsuspend for 2 more checks. And there you have it. Yeah, very interesting tech with the Z Greymon. It allows him to get an unsuspend without having to raid. And we're going to go into that game 3. So Kooper does get his Agumon, and debating how he wants to do it. Looks like he has to do that BT5 Greymon. Misses out on the memory gain, but you gotta do it. Charles gets Pheromon in Racing, and drops the Akari. Hits the Drew for the draw. So Kooper's got a Min Boost, and he's going to drop Min Boost because we love Min Boost in Greymon. Takes the Blackwell Greymon X. Rearranges bottom of the deck. Puts tie on top. Charles goes for that early swing. And it hits into a Blitz Omni. Duralulu swing. Dives to the Greymon, which is actually pretty fortunate because if he has another Akari, which he does, he can get a double draw off those 2 Akaris. Very nice opening for Charles. He just needs to see a cross tamer pretty soon. So Kooper now deciding how he wants to do his turn. It looks like he is going to move up, and every time Greymon moves up, you know there's about to be a lot of plays to happen. So he's going to make that BT12 Metal Gray. He does not have protection on this stack, unfortunately. And of course, he does top deck into the BT11 Greymon X, which would have made that Metal Gray cost of 1. So he's going to range the Durulu, trigger the Metal Gray effect to get the free tie, gains blocker on his stack, and now he's going to trigger the X antibody to evolve into the Metal Gray X for the 2 checks at quite enormous DP, piercing over, very powerful play. Alright, he does live the checks, and then he gains the memory off that tie. And it looks like he's just going to possibly evolve into the Wargrey. And he does. So what's nice about this is that Wargrey is now sitting at quite enormous DP. Probably like 19k. Yes, he's sitting at 19k DP, so it's impossible for Cross 7 to actually delete him, even though the Wargrey is missing protection. So the only thing he has to worry about is Cross 7 Superior mode. And it looks like Charles does not have it. He just plays an Ignite and drops the Fury off. So, unfortunately, it looks like Kooper does not have a rookie to start building up a second stack. And this Wargrey does not have any way of rebooting, does not have any way of raiding. So, he's just like sitting here with a blocker that can't really attack, so he has no option but to drop that Greymon. So, unfortunate follow-up turn for Kooper on the left, but he's still not in a bad position per se. He does, after all, have his double blocker, which is going to give Cross a bit of a headache. So Charles is debating how he wants to go about this. He is going to bring up the Ignite to the draw. And Kooper does block. And the Wargrey is still ready for another block later this turn. So Charles here is debating on what he wants to do. This new Wargrey has really like added a new dimension to this matchup, because earlier Wargrey would just have no choice but to just make a push, and then they would have usually no blocker, and they just have to sit there and hope that they didn't die from cross. So Charles does drop the cross 3, gets 2 draws, and he does do the cross 7, which is pretty big because that cross 7 can delete that Wargreymon. Deciding whether he wants to take it. And he does take it. So we will likely see that dropped after this cross 3 attack, potentially. Charles still deciding what he wants to do. So he does forgo attacking with the cross 3, and he's just going to drop that cross 7 for 4 memory, get rid of that stack. But Kooper does have a level 4 already on board with 4 memory, so he does have potential for a comeback here. He gives the blocker to the Greymon. Debating what he wants to do. He does have the BT12 Greymon X, so that does enable some very explosive plays here. So he does do the Greymon X, he gains that memory because he evolved to a Greymon. He does the Rookie Raising, and he gets the BT12 Metal Greymon, which is exactly what he needs right now, so he gets to evolve for 1 cost. Quite an absurd reduction, thanks to that Greymon X. Goes into the Alteris for free, sadly nothing to delete, but he does gain protection in his stack now. Next up, we're going to see the Metal Grey X with a DT boost and the security attack. And then he does the Wargreymon for more DP. More DP! So from here, he's probably going to raid into that cross 7, get the unsuspend, gets Pierce over. This will just be 2 checks since he does not have the second attack Greymon. Oh, but his intro does come out, so this Ballista does get the return out from one of his namers. And so now Kooper's probably going to swing again into something. He raids into the cross 3, and now Charles is debating whether or not he wants to block this Ballista. Now, he decides not to block the Ballista, probably because if Kooper had the Omni, and he did not have the Ballista up, then he would just die. So he does have a Ballista up to give him assurance against an Omnimon. But Kooper doesn't have the Omnimon, so he's just going to drop the Augermon to get whatever Greymon he wants. He's got the full assortment of Greymons to pick from. So he takes one second attack Greymon, and then the Wargreymon reboots. So now Charles has to try and either like remove the Wargreymon and the Augermon or end it this turn. And he's probably going to try to end it this turn. He has quite a number of cards in his hand, but he is debating on what he wants to do exactly. So he swings the Ballista first, testing to see whether or not Kooper will block it. Kooper decides to let it through, and the Ballista does survive. Charles still debating what he wants to do exactly, but he is going to do a cross 3 for free, it looks like, to get the 2 draw and the search. Hopefully it'll give him something he needs to try to close out this game. So off the wheel we see a cross 7, a Star Sword, and a cross 3. Unfortunately, he cannot possibly delete that Wargreymon with the cross 7. So he is going to take the Star Sword and the cross 3. And he's going to go ahead and swing with the cross 3. Kooper debating whether or not to block. And he does let it go through, because that does force Charles to a position where he needs to get that cross 3 to die in order to reuse some those materials. Unfortunately, it looks like he is out of plays that he can make, so he just drops the Taiki. Yeah, debating what he wants to do, and it looks like he scoops it up. So that was a pretty close game. So looking at the deck list, we'll start with Kooper's. He's got a pretty standard list up until level 6s. He's running the 2Z Greymon, which does allow him to get the unsuspend, whether or not his opponent has something that he can raid into. So that can help enable him to OTK more consistently against matches like, say, Cross Hunters, which can very easily leave out a field with no unsuspended bodies. So a pretty standard list, other than Z-Gray, which is a very fun tech, and that looks like it's working out for him. Looking at Charles's, for those familiar with BT11 Murvacross, this is pretty standard. The main difference is the addition of the Cross 7 Superior mode, which unfortunately did not get to make an appearance in this matchup. But yeah, hope you guys had a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.